Hey, welcome everyone. Let's see if we can get this working. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just having a tough time getting going. I wasn't sure if I was going to be down like everyone else. Uh, Everyone else that has Windows systems. I don't have a Windows system, but just ran into some tech issues, but it looks like we're live. Had to switch browsers. You don't care about that. No, you just want me to get to it, Tom. Just get to it. What are you going to talk about today? I'm going to talk about these guys right here. Right here. These guys. And they pulled a pretty good one. They did pull a pretty good one on us today. So that's what I want to talk about. Just do a... How about that? Let's see. Okay, cool. I am nice and live. Let me do a... Make sure I got that muted. Mute tab. All right, cool. So we're good to go. And let's get started because I want to talk about MSNBC's coverage of the RNC. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you got your coffee ready? Let's talk about something that really grinds my gears because that's pretty much what this show's become. The old guy at the end of the news talking about what bugs him, right? Anyway, you know the old saying, seeing is believing. But what happens when what you're seeing is a total illusion? I'm talking about MSNBC and their coverage of the Republican National Convention. Now, I don't expect much from a network that thinks Rachel Maddow is the second coming of Edward R. Murrow. But this latest stunt is a real doozy. MSNBC, as their top stars, Maddow, Joy Reid, Jen Psaki, all situated in front of a giant LED screen, making it look like they're right there in Milwaukee, knee-deep in the action. Guess what? They're actually broadcasting from their cozy Manhattan studio. That's right, folks. They're in New York, not at the convention. And nowhere on the screen does it say where they actually are. They've got the sound from the convention playing in the background just to give that extra layer of illusion, like a magician playing a soundtrack of a roaring applause to an empty theater. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I believe in a little thing called integrity. I know. If you're not at the convention, just say so. It's not that hard, but instead MSNBC chooses to create this Potemkin village of journalism, a facade of being on the ground where they're actually miles away. It's like green screening in Machu Picchu for Instagram when you never left the house. Former CNN Washington bureau chief nailed it when he said, if news organizations don't represent where they are clearly, then how's the audience supposed to have faith and confidence in the actual content of their reporting? Exactly. It's like if you found out your doctor was diagnosing you over the phone while playing golf. Trust kind of goes out the window, doesn't it? And it's not just a matter of, oh, gee, we're just using the picture behind them. There's something profoundly important here. News is supposed to be about the facts, reality, and dare I say, truth. When you start faking where you are, what else are you faking? The news should be about holding the powerful accountable, not creating a fake backdrop and pumping in crowd noise to make it look like you're in the thick of things. MSNBC claims that at the top of every broadcast, their hosts identified themselves as being in New York. Sure, because nobody ever watches part of a broadcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been duped, but hey, at least we told you eventually. It's like having a steak dinner and finding out afterwards the steak was soy. You can't pull that kind of bait and switch and then act like it's all fine because you came clean later on. Meanwhile, CNN's out there, full team live in Milwaukee, actually covering the event. Whether you like them or not, at least they are where they say they are. MSNBC's thin roster of on-site journalists is laughable in comparison. It's like sending 2 interns to cover the Olympics. So MSNBC, here's a thought. If you want to be trusted, start with honesty. Tell your viewers where you really are. Stop hiding in front of LED walls and background noise and start standing behind your journalism. Because if seeing is believing right now, I'm seeing a whole lot of smoke and mirrors. That's not something any of us should believe in. My name's Tom Coffey. This is the Coffey Nuance Show, the least watched, censored commentary and news show live right now. Flame on. So yeah, this was a doozy, but something odd is happening with this broadcast right now. This is kind of weird. We've got almost 0 people here. My God. Oh, wow. Wow. Why do I even bother writing it? Anyway, so yeah, this just got me. I'll give you my thoughts on Trump's talk at the convention, fact-checking about it and all of that. But the thing that really got me was I thought MSNBC was actually there. I did. And I didn't catch any of the time that they may have mentioned, like right at the beginning. They're like, oh, we're in New York, and here we are, da-da-da-da-da, and they slipped it in right at the beginning of the hour, and then never mentioned it at all. Now, I got a couple of examples here that I want to show. Let's see, what's this one here? Okay, so here's Rachel Maddow. It's got it in the background. I guess that's not the one I wanted to show. This is the one I wanted to show. Okay. And I'm going to play this here. And you can see that he's on the convention floor and she's in New York, but there's no
you back and forth with me too much because I know you are in a loud spot from where you are, but thank you for that, from right next to the stage. Alex, I want to get your reaction to what you heard in the speech. You okay? You okay? Yeah. You just gave me a look like, do not.
Okay, so see what they're doing there is like, oh, where you are, it's really loud, so we'll go back here to where we are, and we're going to continue to play the background sound from the convention so that you actually think we're at the convention. Nowhere on the screen does it say that they're in New York.
We're here. We're all still here. Political strategist Twitter had some
Did you hear what she said? What did she just say?
It looked like, do not ask me.
I can't believe we're here. We're all still here. Political strategist Twitter.
We're here. We're all still here. Well, I guess she didn't specify where here was, did she? So I guess technically she's not lying, right? She didn't say we're here in Milwaukee. So therefore, fact check. Who gives a... Anyway. I just thought that this was incredible. Because when you go back and you look at the MSNBC set, it doesn't look like this. This is a brand new, different set that they are using in Milwaukee. Oh, I'm sorry. They're not in Milwaukee, but for the RNC, they had a different set built with a screen wall, LED screen wall, to really let you think that that's where they were. Now, to be clear, when you see this behind me, I'm not broadcasting out of the jungle. But I think you can tell because you can actually see the screens. You can see the frames of it, and you can see the wall behind me. Cords hanging down. There's no cords hanging down in the jungle. But so they got me. I really thought that MSNBC was in Milwaukee. that's not an accident. And they're just making an excuse like, hey, we said it once or twice during the whole evening. We mentioned it. Let's see some other things. Now I'm going to turn the volume off here just so I can find a couple other examples. But so when we have the split screen here, so did I? Let's see. See if I can see that. Oh. Huh. I don't know. Oh, that's the opacity. What's it? Scale. That's what I needed. Scale. So does that say Milwaukee? Oh, if you look up in the corner here, let's see, it says Milwaukee right there. And then, oh wait, no, oh, wrong button, Tom, wrong button. But then when we skip ahead and we show some of the people in the studio, can I not? Oh, Jesus. So here we go to the split screen. It does say Milwaukee right up there in the corner. But there they are in the studio in New York. Very deceptive, very deceptive. And so I guess what they're saying, they moved the Milwaukee over onto the other side. I don't know. Does this make any sense to anyone? Anyway, it just seems to be a really dumb thing to lie about. Doesn't it seem to be a dumb thing to lie about? Why would you do this? It's as if it's their nature and they have to lie about everything. That's what it appears to me. And until I get some evidence, I think that that's the conclusion. They're not capable of ever telling the truth. Ever. They're so addicted to lying, they're going to lie about where they are. That's my conclusion. Until I get somebody that can refute that, I'm sticking with it. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I know, not a big show. Stick around for the after show. I'll go through your comments. But that's all I prepared. But in the after show, I'll go through your comments. Then I'll tell you about what I thought of the convention. All right, peace. All right, let's see if I can get this. I had to switch for whatever reason. I went to Brave. I've been using Brave as a browser. What the heck is going on here? And it wouldn't start. Well, and so right now, so I had to make some changes right on the fly, and you can see this is cutting off. The comments are cutting off. Oh, what am I? Sorry about that, everyone. You know, a lot of this stuff you can't test prior to going live. And what happened is usually I stream out of Brave. That was stuck in a loop. I kept going, go live, and then it would just spin around and it wouldn't do anything. So I frantically opened it in Firefox and went live in Firefox, but I guess I didn't have the comment thing set right. Anyway, What's up, Lucid? What's up, Joe? Happy Fake News Friday. That's right. I'd say they reported from the studio to avoid random people shouting fake news at them while reporting. I don't have a problem with them not going to Milwaukee. Makes sense. You don't need to go to Milwaukee. You can have some reporters there. You can be back in your studio. Who cares? The point is, don't pretend like you're there. Don't say we're here, we're really here, when you're not. That's all. Just stop lying to my face. Just stop lying. That's all. But I have no problem with them not going there. Who cares? You're reporting live from your studio in Manhattan. Big deal. How about you put on the screen live from Manhattan, live from New York City? Anyway, if they, Lucid says, if they all of a sudden started saying the truth, I don't think we would believe them after all the fibs already said. Well, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. You'll be all right. Thanks, Jeb. I appreciate that. Hey, what's up, Doug? When doing interviews, they oftentimes have both locations on the screen, like reports for weather in different places. Here's Tom in Portland. Yeah, exactly. And if anyone was confused, I'm actually in Portland, not in the jungle. I'm just dreaming about that, right? Dreaming about being right outside some waterfalls, but I'm not. That'd be kind of tough to broadcast in front of a waterfall. Might be a little bit, little noisy. Anyway, so did you watch last night? Did you watch the thing? Joe says the problem with lying is that lies beget lies. I guess that this is a great example of it. Yeah, it's what it looks like to me. Oh, this is what I wanted on the screen. Faker than fake news. But, we'll just leave that there. Now I'll just, we'll do this. No, we'll do that. There we go. So yeah, I watched it. I tell you what, it was bizarre. It was a bizarre convention. I think one of the things that cracks me up about conventions, and this is all conventions my whole life, is they didn't have the styrofoam hats with the red, white, and blue that I remember from like the 80s. It is funny seeing people kind of trying to dancing poorly to the music that's playing. But, you know, the people that are there at the convention, they're having a good time. I always think it's funny when they zoom in on people dancing who obviously can't dance. That's always been kind of funny. Hulk Hogan ripping the shirt off, I thought was fantastic. I loved it. The way he was cutting promos. I thought, you know, he should have mentioned, you know, saying your prayers and eating your vegetables, right? Is it and take your vitamins, right? Isn't that what Hulk used to say? But that was kind of surreal. Kind of odd having Kid Rock get out there and do a new version of American Badass, having everyone yell, fight, fight, Trump, Trump. Kind of odd. Overall, I thought Trump started very strong. The beginning, where he stuck with his script and he talked about this past week and wanting to be a president for the entire country, and that all seemed to be very unifying, and I thought it was a nice tone. I think if he could have ended it after a half hour, probably would have been a lot better. A lot of times he just can't help himself, right? And then when you look at the fact checks about fact-checking Trump, it's ridiculous. They fact-check the dumbest things. It is a bit concerning that Trump just exaggerates everything all the time, and he just states things that are just flat out untrue. but I'm used to it, so it doesn't really bother me, right? When he said, "Oh, when I was president, there was no inflation." Well, we all know that there wasn't no inflation, right? But it was very low. It was very low, and in fact, if inflation typically is under 2%, that's considered really good, right? And I think it was like 1.4% or something for Trump. So, but I don't think anyone actually takes him literally on his thing, except for all the fact checkers and his critics. They take all of that literally, which is kind of weird. I know he's a salesman, but I don't know. It might be more convincing if he could just, I don't know. Was like a scene from Idiocracy. It kind of felt that way sometimes. Joe says, I watched Trump's speech. The rest of the convention never got my attention. It didn't me either. In fact, I was kind of bored with J.D. Vance's talk, so much so that I found myself zoning out and like surfing like another surfing on my laptop while he was on the TV. I don't know. He didn't seem to be super impressive or super charismatic, but whatever. That I don't think that's the most important thing you have with a vice president. Hashtag Rumble Gang, in my humble opinion. Lucid says, I watched Kid Rock. It was okay. President Trump saying, I'm not supposed to be here right now was powerful, I thought. Yeah, no, Trump had some really powerful moments. I think if he could have condensed it, I mean, this was like over an hour and a half. I think it could have been, I think he could have cut a better promo, as they said. I think he could have done better. But in the end, the people that were watching the whole thing probably are his fans. And so most likely people that don't like Trump didn't watch him anyway. So I guess it doesn't matter, you know. Who am I to give advice to you know, the probably the most well-known human being alive, right? So probably doesn't need my advice. But it is Friday. I'll give you one fact check. He did say that he was talking about El Salvador because he mentioned that he was a fan of the president. So when he was talking about, he didn't mention the country, but he was talking about El Salvador. And he said that they were sending prisoners to the U.S., emptying out the prisons and sending them to the U.S., not sending the best, right? And there's no evidence of that at all. And I did like that Bukele, the president of El Salvador, just put a tweet out at that moment. What the heck was the tweet? It was words to the effect of I'm holding my tongue. No, it wasn't I'm holding my tongue. What was it? Bukele did mention it. Let's see. I'll find it right here. Bukele is the president of El Salvador. But what he did say, oh no, I got to click on likes. If you really want to help my channel, one thing that you can do is follow me on X. Because that is pretty good. Taking the high road is what he tweeted out. So Bukele, the president of El Salvador, rather than responding and saying, Trump, you're wrong, Trump, you're a liar, he just tweeted, taking the high road. And I thought that was a very good way to respond to it. There's no evidence that El Salvador was emptying their prisons and sending people to the U.S. Now, what is true is that there were some El Salvadoran murderers, some bad guys that were not in prison, that left El Salvador and have been in the U.S., had been arrested in the U.S., released by the U.S. back into the U.S., and they have done some bad things. Okay, but that was because our own government was releasing them. They had been either stopped by Homeland Security or the Border Patrol, and then were just released. And they were bad guys. Bad guys is what they were. And some terrible things have happened because of that. But there's no evidence that the president of El Salvador was releasing prisoners into the U.S. So that's a fact check for you. I wish Trump wouldn't say crap like that because, well, it's wrong. And I think he knows it's wrong. In the same way that MSNBC knows that they're lying by putting up a big LED screen and pretending like they're in Milwaukee when they're not. So I don't know why. I don't know why people do it. I don't like it when Trump does it. I don't like it when Biden does it. I don't like it when MSNBC does it. But I guess it works, right? Maybe that's why they do it, is because it works. And, I've got like a dozen people watching me. So maybe I'm doing it all wrong, right? So that's that. See, I jumped in and out of the convention until Trump's speech. I get it too. It was tough. I feel the length and going off and on script was Trump flexing on Biden. Could be. It could be. I think if he really wanted to show that he was sharp, that was pretty good, going off script and rolling with the punches. I do think that was good, although you wouldn't know that if you were to listen to Joy Reid, who immediately said that this was evidence that Trump is just as bad as Biden. She said that. She did. So Joe says, I think that Biden's handlers are holding the Democrat Party hostage, that they are trying to negotiate an exit package, and if they cannot reach a deal, they will take campaign finances. Yeah, I think there's a lot of legal stuff. The Democrats had a whole lot of new rules that they implemented, which is making it harder to force Biden out. And, beyond that, I guess it's just speculation. He might be confusing El Salvador for Venezuela. He could be. But then again, that goes into mind reading. Because if he were talking about Venezuela, right, I do believe. Now, there's no direct evidence that Venezuela emptied their prison and sent them to the U.S. There's no direct evidence of that. There's a lot of circumstantial evidence that that's what they did. But then Trump was talking about whoever did that as being El Salvador, which is a totally different country. And maybe he's just confused, and who knows? I guess, he's just shot less than a week ago. So, I don't know. Jill Biden is running the show, and she ain't going anywhere. That is an opinion, and it's not a bad one. 50% of the time, it works every time. I like that, Joe. That's very good. Anyway, that's all I got prepared today. I think I need to work on some tech stuff and probably figure out some other stuff as to what we can do to get a few more views when I'm live. I'd really love it if I could get enough people so that I could be, read some ads and, I don't know, whatever. But it is what it is. I hope you all have a beautiful weekend. Get out there, do something awesome. And, I don't know, stop lying. We're lie less. Anyway, that's all I got. You all have a good one. Peace.